into Edmonton. Kevin Kurz joins us here on the Comcast Business Hotline. Kevin, good morning. How are we doing today?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. A nice night for the Flyers yesterday against a really talented Edmonton team. I know the Flyers are still working through, a change with Rick Tocchet here at the beginning of the season. But how impressed were you with their performance yesterday, going to go toe-to-toe with one of the better teams in the NHL?
Well, they did get a point out of it. Edmonton didn't come in playing particularly well. They'd only won two games on the road all year out of, I think it was 9. Defensively, the Flyers were fine. They held Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl mostly at bay, but they were pinned in their end far too often. And that's you can look at that two ways. They were defending well and they were maintaining their structure and they weren't letting some of the really skilled players on Edmonton get high danger scoring chances, but they didn't have the puck and they weren't on the attack enough. So that's something we've seen a little bit too often with this team. They're defending a little bit too much, and to their credit, they don't run out of place. But at some point they've got to stop. They've got to be able to sort of halt the momentum and get things going the other way, because for far too much of yesterday's game, they were just defending. So, they played well at the start of the game. They played well in the third period, but it was just that stretch from, I would say, middle of the first period through most of the second, where they get outshot 19-1 over that stretch, and they're still managing to get a point out of it. So I guess you can look at it glass half full or glass half empty if you want.
Kev, I'm shocked at the fact that we wake up around 2 weeks till Thanksgiving, and the Flyers are 4th in the league in goals against. I can't even fathom that, because going into the year, if you had told me that Rick Tocchet would have them as a top 10 or 12 defense, I think I would have questioned that.
Yeah, and I think that's why, if you're looking for a reason of hope, that's probably it. Because, if you're a coach, if you're Rick Tocchet, you'd much rather have the defensive aspect of the game and the goaltending in place, and then wait for the offense to come around and hope the offense comes around, because that's the hardest part, right? And that's kind of what Rick Tocchett's known for, really, is he's a defensive-minded coach. He's had success in that part of the game with his other stops along the way. And so that's going really well. Travis Sanheim, Cam York especially, they've been eating up a ton of minutes. They've both been playing really well. Jamie Drysdale's coming on. Nick Seeler's been good. And even their third D pair, which we had some real big question marks about going into the season, has been fine. But obviously the MVP, the early season MVP here is Dan Vladar. 10 starts, he's allowed 2 or fewer goals in 8 of them. The Flyers haven't gotten that kind of goaltending in a little while, and obviously that was their biggest issue last season, was the goaltending. So that's looking like a real good move for Danny Briere in the offseason. Vladar's fit in on the ice. He's fit on off the ice with his teammates. They really seem to love him. So that's huge moving forward. If they can maintain that and pick up the offense and hope that some of these guys like the Matvei Michkovs come around and start scoring a little bit more, then the team could hang in the playoff race for the year if that happens.
Speaking of Michkov, as Kevin Kurz joins us here on the Comcast Business Hotline, covers the Flyers for The Athletic. Michkov now a goal in 3 straight games, and I know Sean Couturier had his comments over the weekend as well. Have you seen any change from Michkov in recent days to be more involved in the offense to have those 3 goals?
Yeah, I don't put a whole lot of stock in Couturier's comments after the game. He was asked about Michkov specifically, and he said, I think, what everybody else sees, that when he's not scoring goals, he's got to be better away from the puck. And if you go back to that game on Thursday when Michkov had his single biggest offensive highlight, it was a beautiful goal he scored. He was still doing a few things that I think as a coach you kind of cringe. It was a minute and a half left, and he's trying a dangerous cross-ice pass through the neutral zone that gets picked off, and it leads to a pretty dangerous scoring chance. So, those are the things he's still got to get out of his game. But last night he was good in that regard too. I can't recall any real blatant turnovers or misplays with the puck. He scores that goal in the power play. He's getting his legs underneath him. It's no secret now. It's been reported many times by me and others that he just didn't come into camp in good enough shape. I think that's a lesson he learned. That's something that he acknowledged after that game on Thursday, was that it was the first time he'd taken 4 months away from hockey, and he's got to train a little bit differently next season, or next off season, that is. So he knows it. I think he learned his lesson. And now that he is starting to come on, he's someone the Flyers need, right? They all know, Sean Couturier and everybody else in that dressing room knows that if this team's going to go anywhere, they need Matvei Michkov to be a very big part of that. And he hasn't been early on, but he's starting to become that later or lately.
It's also great to see improvement on the power play. Can you talk a little bit about that and how this team, different approaches you've seen from this coaching staff addition this year?
Yeah, there's so much more movement. They're getting more putts to the net now. I thought it was interesting. We talked to Cam York before the season. He's a guy that didn't get any power play time under John Tortorella, and there was clearly some sort of a rift there. But, a couple guys have said that on the power play now, they're not afraid to make plays because they're not afraid to get yanked off one of the two units, like might have happened under the last coaching staff. So I think they're a little bit freed up mentally to try to make plays. And Rick Tocchet, too, is a very good power play coach. He's had success in the past coaching power plays, particularly in Pittsburgh when they won the Stanley Cup there. Zegras helps, too. Let's be real.
Sure.
He's got 16. Yeah, he has 16 points. Half of his points are on the power play. He's become a real dangerous offensive player on the power play. Jamie Drysdale's been good up top, and Cam York, like I said, he's a guy that didn't get any power play time last year. He's had some success running one of the two units himself, but it does look worlds better. I think they're right around middle of the league right now, like 14th or 15th or so.
That's a huge improvement.
And it is, yeah. I mean, you consider they were 30th last year and dead last in the league the two previous years under John Tortorella. It really had nowhere to go but up, and that's going to be huge moving forward too.
Kevin, great stuff, man. Keep up the great
Kev.
work covering the Flyers for The Athletic, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Anytime, guys. Thanks so much.
There is Kevin Kurz on the Comcast Business Hotline.
Hey guys, Andrew Salciunas, host of Kincade and Salciunas. Just want to thank you for checking out all of our great videos that we have on our YouTube channel every single day. Make sure, if you can, please like and subscribe and check out all the videos that we have on our YouTube channel, whether it's for us, Kincade and Salciunas, of course, our midday show, as well as Unfiltered with Bill and Ricky.